I'm Daniel with MopedU. We're a power sports shop here in Fayetteville, Arkansas. We mainly do scooters, that's kind of what we're known for, but lately we've broken out in more dirt and power sport units, four-wheelers, dirt bikes, go-karts, kind of a little bit of everything. We do sales, parts, service, just about anything you need we can help you out with, related in that power sport industry. Kind of do it all. Stand out on is we try to keep as many parts as we can and offer a different level of service. So yeah, you can go on Amazon or online, order the same part, probably a little less, because we try to keep as cheap as we can. But the whole thing is you've got support. So if you're not sure if it fits, call us, I'll find it out with you. If you're not sure, I'm kind of a gold mine of knowledge with this stuff. I've done it for so long. So yeah, our big thing really we pride ourselves on is our service. We're here to help. Sometimes I can't get a part, I'll show you, what your best bet is if I can't get it. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna come back for something else with us. We pretty much work on anything. I mean, if it's got a motor, we'll mess with it, but we mainly focus and specialize on the scooters, dirt bikes, four-wheelers, go-karts, power sports stuff.
Small engine type stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I think the biggest we've had is a 458 side-by-side. That's about it.
All right.
But a lot of the small engine stuff, a chunk of scooters, because that's kind of what we started doing for 10 years was just scooters. And in the last 4 years, we started branching out more. And then 2 years ago, we picked up Trailmaster and it just blew up.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So what would you say the most common repairs you guys do?
Oh, carburetor cleans.
Carburetor.
100%. 100%.
So when somebody's bike or tiny side by side, like the go-karts I'm used to are steel frame.
The little things.
Sit on the steel frame and get the heck beat out of you. I'm looking at this and I'm like, dude.
They've changed a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. I mean, I used to break go-karts as a kid left and right, and now you almost can't. They take abuse more than they used to, that's for sure. But no, the biggest kicker these days with all these power sports stuff is, it gets cold, you park it. You put it up for a bit, or, something happens, you park it, you get a tire flat, you park it. And then people don't realize you can only park these things up for a month or two. Especially with today's gas, they don't like it. They get harder to start, and that's the most common though. That and batteries, tires, that's it.
Batteries, tires.
Yeah, we don't even really see that many issues with motors these days. Everyone thinks it's coming from China, it's going to have problems. No,
it's pretty good. I mean, they've got that. What did they got? The Honda was the first one to make it, right? And now everyone
clones the Honda, and they're getting much better these days. They really are, and you kind of can't come close to the price of some of these. Some of our Honda equivalent dirt bikes we've got, you're looking $1,400 out the door for a Honda equivalent being $4,200.
That's crazy.
You buy 3 of these things and just run through them, and they won't care. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, but you see in here, we have a little bit of everything. Mm-hmm. I have one dirt bike, and it's because of a broken throttle cable. The dirt bikes and the mini bikes, they don't care.
Yeah.
They don't. They're awesome.
That's awesome. We've got spring coming up. Mm-hmm. Everybody's going to be getting this stuff out again, right?
Yep.
The weather's finally getting nice. It's supposed to be 70-something
this
week, right? So the most common things, like you said, batteries. Mm-hmm. But if you're pulling on this, starting deal,
the pull start.
It's not starting. You need to come see Daniel. Right?
Yeah.
You need to come see Daniel.
I mean, our carburetor cleans it's quick. We charge within 5-minute segments. We don't build necessarily by the hour. If it takes me 15 minutes, you're getting billed 15 minutes.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So we're straight. We're honest on all of our build time.
Right.
I can clean 90% of carburetors in 30 minutes.
Holy cow.
Yeah. The extra time is really just getting it off and putting it back on. Once it's in front of me, I'm done in 5 or 10 minutes. It's good to go. Rarely, but occasionally, we'll run into some carburetors that just won't take a clean. You clean them 3-4 times, they just don't run right, so we'll just put a new carburetor on at that point and everything's fixed. But even then, these carburetors are $50, $60 a piece, brand new. Yeah, they're awesome. You can't really beat them. But no, even as it gets into the busier season, as much extra service load as we see, like the shop itself, we normally keep 2 mechanics on staff, so we rarely get more than a week behind on service. So if you brought me a bunch of mini bikes or go-karts that didn't work, I'll only have them for a week or less, and you're ready to go. You're ready to rock again. So 'cause that's the other thing too is I want people to get back out there on these things and ride them. So if it's sat for you, the first thing I want to do is make sure it's good to go, and then that way you can get back out on them. Because I'm still a kid. I love riding these.
Well, we do too. So you got like a ton of parts in here, right? I see belts.
Yeah.
I see tires.
And this is, like I was saying, this is our low inventory, just being winter season. We don't really do a lot of service. It's pretty dead right now. I mean, we haven't had much work this week. And it comes back right around springtime, though. Everyone that's waited all winter, they all come at the same time pretty much. But yeah, here in a couple weeks, we essentially double, almost triple what you see as far as inventory.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that helps us keep on that week or less service time frames, because I normally don't have to wait for parts to show up. Unless it's a very niche bike or an older unit or just something kind of one-off. But even then, I don't think parts are really worse than a week or two on average.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, Trailmaster scooters.
This is cool.
Yeah, that's actually, everyone knows Trailmaster for their mini bikes and go-karts, but they actually make scooters too. And they carry the Trailmaster warranty, I mean the Trailmaster quality.
The colors are
Yeah,
great colors.
it's, I mean, honestly, it's a Chinese Metropolitan. It's a third of the cost. It's, don't get me wrong, Metropolitan's like cream of the crop for scooters, but
Yeah.
you want something for 4 or 5 years, put around for a quarter of the price, that's gonna be fantastic.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is super.
And then you get a lot of these like fake motos.
Yeah.
This is a scooter that looks like a motorcycle. It is fully automatic. There is nothing about it that is actually a motorcycle.
What?
Yeah.
It looks like a motorcycle.
Everything up here is all empty.
Really?
There's just nothing in the front.
So is this like the GY6? or
Yep,
whatever?
that's the GY6. It's a 150. They got like proper mini motos. Those are a Grom clone, 125, 5-speed manual. Those are pretty decent bikes actually. They're a fairly new model. We've pretty much replaced this model. We quit selling the Rocket and offering the Vader and the Striker.
So these are the models you're selling new now.
Yep, and actually, we're about to stop selling that particular model because we found a better one at the same price.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, better warranty, better quality, but I think they look a little bit better than these do too. LED lights and stuff already on them.
5-speed manual.
Yeah,
With what kind of motor is in it?
it's a Honda clone 125cc, and by Honda clone, I mean like nut and bolt clone. It's kind of ridiculous. It's on the same platform as the Grom. They're known as the MSX 125 platforms. A lot of parts are shared between these guys.
That's rad. So how fast can one of these get up to?
Stock out of the box, I've personally had it just a touch under 50, and I really think that's just a gearing thing. I don't think
Really?
it's much power issue, that sprocket on the back.
yeah, look how small that sprocket
Compared to the Grom, it is significantly smaller, so I think they just kind of gutted you on your gearing.
That's like a tiny little sprocket.
Yeah, I used to remember the tooth count because I was kind of shocked about it, but yeah, re-gearing them, front rear sprocket helps dramatically on them. I've got a friend of mine out in Siloam Springs. He's got one pretty heavily modified.
Really?
He's 65, 70 all day.
Oh
and
my
it's still stock 125cc displacement. He didn't even hop up the motor yet.
Just gearing.
Yeah,
Like 20
gearing,
miles an hour.
carburetor. The exhaust doesn't make a performance difference. It's a noise thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, gearing and carburetor on these things really wakes them up.
That's awesome. Those
That's
are super cool.
That's probably the biggest thing I'd say for almost any stock, Chinese type of power toy. They all need a better carburetor. Most of the stock carburetors have no air fuel screw adjustment on them.
Right.
There's little to no tuning. You can adjust the idle, and that's about it. So even if it's another Chinese carburetor, as long as you've got some tunability to it, these things will run so much better with them. They love it.
Putting a carburetor on them.
Mm-hmm.
So if I buy one and want you to put a carb on it, what's that look like?
So most of the time, actually, on our new units, we actually already put the better carburetors on them. We keep a pretty good stock of them, and I'll be honest, I don't like dicking around with a carburetor that I can't get running out of the box. So it takes me 15 to 30 minutes on average to just put one on. So we will.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
but I mean, if you brought your unit in, let's say you bought one yourself somewhere else, online, used, whatever else, new carburetor and install for 90% of these units is usually about $100.
Okay.
Yeah, and mind you, the carburetor is about $60 of that. So
Nice.
Yeah,
And so you're saying runs better?
they idle smoother, they start a lot easier. You'll see them even smoke less. Some of these things are weird. They'll run them so rich that they'll choke themselves out on fuel. They have a hard time starting. You'll see them, puffing out light blue smoke out the tailpipe, and part of that installed price is also including us dialing it in, tuning it. You could say there's not much to tune really, other than just playing with the AFR.
Yeah.
But that's about it. We just make sure they're running good and get them out.
Sweet. Let's talk MiniBike parts, right? Because we didn't know you were here, and we're super stoked to know.
Yeah.
So, like the biggest consumables we use, and you guys chime in if I forget anything. I'm thinking like brake levers for when we lay them over and they break off. Pegs are a big thing. Carburetors.
Yep. Belts, clutches.
Belts, chains, clutches, whatever we've got on them.
We keep 90% plus of those consumables. I mean,
Throttle cables.
throttle cables, I have boxes of. And it's funny, I quit labeling them by what they fit. I just started measuring their lengths. So that way, you know, if someone needs a cable for almost any mini bike, four-wheeler, whatever, just tell me what it is. How long do you need it? I'll have it. You know, all those carburetors right up there, those are solely mini bike go-kart motor carburetors. That's it. We keep a range of sizes. You know, if you've got a weird one where it's got a cable choke instead of the hand choke, we've got that. Clutches, I keep two different types, the stock replacement for the chain drive, and I've got two types of CVT clutches. You see in the belt wall, more than half of that is for the power sport CVT stuff. The belt's your number one common thing. And we can also get Kevlar belts if you want a stouter, upgraded belt. They take heat way better. Debris, if it gets in there, is not as likely to shred them up. It costs a little bit more, but they're worth it. They're awesome. Chains, we buy in 10-foot sections at a time. So that way I don't have to worry if the links I sell you are correct. I'll measure it out and get you the right link counter. Just get you a 10-foot roll for cheap and you can knock it out yourself as much as you want. We've had a lot of people do that too. Because we're big supporters of like the DIY stuff. You want to do it yourself? Awesome. Like I'll help you through that. I'll get you what you need and you call me if you get stuck on it.
Heck yeah. So, all right. So this is cool, right? You've got all these parts. And I think a lot of people are like scared to take mini bikes off-road because everything you see on YouTube is like drag racing, on-road
or fully
stuff.
built.
Yeah.
People think you got to spend a lot of money.
You do, and that's the thing, and you don't see a lot of off-road stuff. And I don't know for sure why that is, but I think a big part of it is people are afraid to break their stuff. And what we have found is if you just had one mini bike, I bet you could spend $50 in spare parts and have everything you need for if you break, 10 minutes of work, 20 minutes of work, and you're back up and running.
When we picked up Trailmaster, I wanted to kind of beat one up and get an idea of what consumables I needed to carry here. So I picked up the fully loaded Hurricane model from Trailmaster, and I mercilessly beat on that thing for 2 years. Mercilessly. Anyone looked at it long enough, you want to ride it? I think, highest, one of my friends, drinking a little bit, we got almost 6 feet of air. Came down hard. It didn't care. Bent the handlebars, you just bend them back, keep going. They don't care. Only thing in those 2 years of abuse, I went through like 5 rear tires, a lot of burnouts, and maybe 4 or 5 belts, and then a clutch, but that was during a burnout. Other than that, like they're great. They're crazy easy to work on. Nobody understands that really. And I think that's something that scares people off too. There's so many types of mini bikes, and I don't know if some people understand the amount of interchange is kind of ridiculous. You know, some of our like older friends, we have one with an old Coleman. It says it's a 196 motor, 212 parts bolt on. They're all the exact same. He's got a really weird crank on there, so we can't install the CVT setup as easy. Cool, it's just a $30 crank, and it takes like 30 minutes to replace. It's not that bad. So otherwise, people would see that and be like, well, I need a whole motor. No, not really. You can get away with a lot. And I don't know. I think a lot of it, too, like you were saying earlier, people got kind of scared off of them with the older death trap mini bikes. Gave you nothing. You got an engine, wheels, and a motor or a frame, and that's it. You got suspension, full front and rear suspension. Some of these bikes have disc brakes, front and rear hydraulic. If it doesn't, you can put all that on them for way cheaper than people think. Like, it's not that expensive anymore to get out and have a ton of fun on these mini bikes.
Yeah, it doesn't have to suck anymore.
No.
It's just like the go-karts we were talking about. They used to suck to ride on.
Yeah, oh,
it was
yeah.
fun as a kid.
You get beat up on them.
But that thing looks so rad to take for a rip. Like,
it's awesome because you could have a 9-year-old hop in that, ride it at its limit, and he's not going to get tossed out or get thrown off. You know, and then as soon as he's done, full-size person, get in that. Doesn't matter how big you are. You fit, get in it, rip it. It's going to perform the exact same, which is what's awesome. And then the mini bike stuff too, like the interchange, a lot of it too, people see the price of new mini bikes. Find an old one. Get an old frame. Build that. I've got that old 70 or 71 heeled Bronc. Nothing is made for that bike anymore, but cool, I'm looking for ATV tires, not mini bike tires, you know. I'm putting a modern motor instead of looking for a 3-horse flathead. Like, modify them, cut them apart, make it what you want out of them. They're so much fun.
heck yeah.
And it's a great kind of like gateway into tinkering.
It is.
Because they're so easy. There's nothing you can actually mess up at the end of the day that can't be fixed in less time than it took to mess up.
Even if you completely mess up the motor, you can get a new motor for a couple $100.
Harbor Freight, $200 in 2 hours. You're ready to rock again.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Mini bikes are a great jumping off point to learn mechanics from, but there's nothing scary about them because there's just so much out there.
Yeah, they're so cheap to work on, so easy, and everything applies over. Even though it's a small single-cylinder motor, you got a dirt bike or a four-wheeler. It might look different. It all works the same.
Awesome. And if you're worried about working on them, you can bring them here.
Yeah, we're $90 an hour through our shop rate, fairly affordable. Like I said, we bill within like 5-minute segments.
Yeah, because most shops, bill by the hour.
Yeah,
and you have some sort of minimum, like
Yeah.
a 1 hour minimum, or no
Yeah.
matter what, it's going to be $90 if you take your
Yeah,
bike. But if you
or
bring it
you'll-
here, shoot.
Yeah, we try to get it in and out quick and cheap. I mean, our whole goal at it is to have as many service customers and making a little bit off of them versus making a lot off of a few people.
Yeah.
So I'd rather have 100 loyal customers and I'm making a little bit off of each of them because that's better off for us at the end of the day.
Thank you.
I mean, that's how you're selling Chinese stuff for 14 years. Like, we know it's not the best, but we try to be the best at them.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Assembler, so he tells me it's bad. But I think he said they put oil in the so I would. So this is a dirt shop. A lot of our friends do MiniBikes. Me and the scooter guy actually did Iowa. It's a fully built. Started as a 50, it's sitting around 85 cc motor right now. Stock wheels, dirt bike tires that fit beautifully. And they're actually great on the road. There's not much vibration